Friends, Brian here for Middle Age Mind and Muscle, and today we are going to talk about a hidden talent I have. No, it's not me playing guitar. It's not even me deadlifting. It's about pec tears. If there's a hidden talent I have, I could tear my pecs at will. I have had 4 pec tears, very serious ones. Now, I'm not going to get into too much detail of them. I went into detail in another video about the history of my pec tears. I will leave the link at the end of this video, but I get asked a lot from time to time about pec tears. So, I went and did something very recently that might surprise some of you. I went out and got a bench press sling. Now, before you guys get going, I know people have said, have you tried Mark Bell's slingshot? I did one time in passing in a gym, but I didn't really try it long enough or fair enough to really give it a whirl. I am, however, familiar with using the Bench Daddy. Who's your daddy, Bench? Now, with the Bench Daddy, it was with a powerlifting club. It was right after my 3rd pec tear. I remember trying one for the first time, and I smoked a 415 bench. Now, here's the video, but all you naysayers out there, that is a 55-pound bar. I remember smoking that going, wow, these things are incredible. I actually feel like I have protection in my pecs again. My understanding is that they were designed for people who have had shoulder issues and pec tears so that they could still lift safely. I remember when I tried it after my 3rd pec tear, when I smoked the 415, I remember the guy who ran the powerlifting club at the time, I looked at him and I said, you know, that was really light. I could easily smoke 500 plus. Of course, after having pec tears, you're very terrified. I don't care how tough you are. It's a very serious injury, and it always messes with your brain. So, you guys probably know that for the most part, my powerlifting days are behind me, and I am okay with that. I get into explaining why I don't deadlift anymore at 50, my personal situation about it. But I've also noticed in my quest to go from, once again, being obese last year, I was 340 pounds, to getting in the best shape of my life at 50. I'm now 270 pounds. I kind of realized, you know, when I have to build tricep mass, what are my options? Well, dips are out. I can't do dips anymore because of what's happened to my pectorals. I don't want to put my body in that situation. One of the best mass builders for me are close grip tricep presses or close grip bench press. So when I'm doing it, my hands are closer. I'm keeping my elbows in. I'm keeping everything tight. A little bit more protection for my pecs. And I was doing them, and I was doing them, and I was like, you know, I'm getting a bit stronger, still always tentative. You're like, ugh. And I haven't really gone that heavy. And you guys would probably be like surprised at how not heavy I go, and I've done everything else I can to not have to go heavy because of fear of I don't want to hurt my pecs again. So I went out and got a bench press sling by Saywans. Okay, now shout out again to Champs Athletics for helping hook me up with this one. It's not a bench daddy, it's not a slingshot, but it seems to be quite adequate. It does the job. And I recently started experimenting with it for close grip bench. Not that I'm going to be close grip benching anything crazy, but I wanted to use a little bit more weight safely to help me put on a bit of mass on my triceps. So I'm going to keep you guys posted as I slowly go a little heavier and heavier with some comfort, knowing that I'm protected with the bench press sling. But I came to a realization, I said, you know, I need to use a little bit more weight to put some more mass on my triceps. And for me in the past, the close grip bench was always the best mass builder for my triceps next to dips. As I said, can't do dips anymore. But going on to some other questions I get about pec tears. So after my first major pec tear, there's a long story and a long history around it. But after my first pec tear, I was young. I was in my 20s. I was benching 500 raw in the gym. I was lowering it. I you know, sometimes when people are benching and they do like try and do a little adjustment, I did that at the bottom and I didn't know what the hell was going on. This is back in the 90s. I was a kid. I had my chest and all the way down my arm was green and blotchy for months after. And anytime after that, anytime I started going heavy, super heavy, I feel like my chest pulled, like the muscle pulled, so I'd have to be very careful. I completely tore it off in 2016 at a bench press competition. I was lowering 405. And, you know, I've talked in the past about the healthcare system in Canada. It is flawed, free in a way, but we pay a lot more tax here. But it is flawed, and it's very flawed. And I talk about it more in detail in this other video. I'll post a link to at the end. And I couldn't even really fit into the MRI machine. The MRI machine looked like something from 1960s Cold War technology. Canada, come on, we can do better. And I had to wait a few months before I could even get in it. When you have a tear like that, you got to get looked at really quickly and get it operated on. So I elected to just not have the surgery. So, of course, I don't have the connective tissue to do what I used to do. So sometimes your body will be like, oh, you got 500, but then your body's actually saying, you know, no, I think 205 is the max you're going to go. Especially as you get older, okay? And one of the things with my training now is I don't want to get hurt. If you get hurt, you can't train. If you can't train, then you're going to be stuck at home. If you're stuck at home, that's when the food bullshit and depression kick in, and we don't want that. So in the past, I have had some rehabilitation training. I've done some at the sweatshop in Cincinnati with Shane Sweat. He talked to me about using the bamboo bar. And different exercises to get the pec rehabilitated. I also experimented by myself with the tsunami bar, which is a great piece of equipment if you ever have access to one. I've also done different things to fire up my stabilizers, like the Bosu ball push-ups. Doing the bench press with elastic bands, carrying the weight, or kettlebells. To really kick in the stabilizers, of course. But it's tough, you know. But one of the good things about the Pec Tears is, I said in my video about should men over 50 lift heavy, it kind of just let me let go a bit and close that chapter. Like, I'm not all wrapped up on how much I can lift anymore. I know some people going into their 50s, they still are. And it's like, dude, like, your body's moving in another direction. Maybe the secret is to work with your body and not... But enough about that. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. Get your stabilizers as strong as possible. Another thing I wish I knew when I was younger with benching is your antagonistic muscles, your support muscles at the back. Get them as strong as possible. Get your rear delts as strong as possible to give the support to the pecs, because what can happen too is when you're benching heavy and heavy and heavy, you can get stronger and stronger and stronger, but then sooner or later, something in the chain can let go. So if one of the support muscles isn't strong enough, boom. Again, guys, I'm always going to be very careful when we talk about gear on YouTube, but I will tell you guys that my natural bench was about 415, 420. When I decided to take the plunge, within that year, I was doing 405 for reps. My best was 405 for 9 reps. And I thought I was going to be one of these guys, wow, I'm on gear now, I'm going to take over the world. Well, being silly doing bench presses when I was young kind of put a little bit of a damper on those plans. So I would encourage anyone, you know, learn proper bench press form, get all the support and stabilizer muscles as strong as possible, and really seek out good training and good coaching. There's a lot of really bad coaches out there. And, you know, find someone who knows what they're doing. So I am now experimenting with the bench press sling again. Again, nothing crazy. Don't want to get hurt. But I can just go a little bit heavier to help me put a bit more mass on my triceps. All right, guys. I hope that helps. I appreciate all the support. If you have any questions, if you want to talk to me about pec tears, feel free to comment below. Hit like, hit subscribe, and remember, this is my therapy.